To solve the two-point paradox, you have to understand that everything is stacked on one point, right? The singularity is what we would call this, for example. And so and to really explain is to get from A to B, what's really happening is your awareness is just shifting and you're moving. So a shift in awareness is effectively movement. And the moral proof is basically, so to define morality, it's distance from God, okay? Farther away from God, the more evil you are, the closer to God, the more good you are. On the other point, like basically you kind of got to you got to basically put like a couple infinities here, just kind of use your imagination. Evil on one side, good on the other one, God, Satan, and then as your awareness shifts, you move this across this line of good and evil. There's a gray area. It's an orbital relationship, which is gray area of morality, right? So here's your line of morality. Distance from source is how it's defined, or God, same thing, good and evil. And so the two-point paradox is a shift in awareness. So you shift your awareness and you move. And the thing is, when we perceive reality, it's kind of interesting how our brain works, right? There might be a misconception that we're projecting things out and you're just looking around. I mean, that's understandable. Light is flooding in, which is basically information, flooding into your through your eyes, which is your pupils. They kind of function as black holes swallowing information, right? Talks about it in the singularity consciousness theory on Quora. So information is flooding in, our brain is processing it, and then it's a best guess depiction of reality relative to what we think is our environment. So basically everything we see is a projection of our brain. So it's awareness. Everything is stacked. So when we're looking at something, we're observing something, whereas looking at singularity, everything is moving out of the way to make the observation. And so this is kind of how, it's going to be a very complicated model, but it's also on Quora. It needs to be updated, again, for very specific reasons. I have not updated it yet because, IP theft, potentially. So anyway, just for that reason, I want to make sure this is all copyrighted by me and God and Jesus, Holy Spirit, and Emmy. All copyrighted. I want to be sure that's saying that. Anyway, solution to the two-point paradox is it's a shift in awareness because all information is stacked. And when we make the observation, stuff moves out of the way so we can make the observation. So it appears that we're looking at this uniform universe when in reality it's all a projection of our brain, which is a belief system. So reality is effectively a subjective collective belief system. And we have these laws of physics and things that it kind of abides by because ultimately it's like God's big belief system, right? We're inside God's mind is a better way to say it.